Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jupiter James and this is Astro Motivation, where I awaken the astrologer within you and aim to give you a little inspiration and motivation per your unique placement within your birth chart. You know, I really do feel that before a time of iPhones and iPads and I this and I that, we were a culture and a society that were better able to look up at the stars and understand exactly where our dreams were and how to get them. And so if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and get into it. Today I am excited to bring you a very interesting topic, and that is a rich husband or spouse within the birth chart, and how to see if that is something that is in store for you in your future once you do become married, or once the universe does find it fit for you to, you know, attain love, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and go through these top 10 indicators. Know that the more of these indicators you have, the more it increases your potential for this to happen, or quite literally ensures that it will happen. Also, please note that within these top 10 indicators, okay, that if you do not have any of these indicators, that does not mean that you will not get a well-off husband or well-off partner or spouse, okay? And that's why I always say that it is best to get a personal reading. That way I am not speaking to you in generalities, but I can actually pinpoint other placements in your chart that would speak to that if that is in store for you. Because outside of these 10 indicators, know that there are a plethora of different placements and points that can indicate you marrying into wealth, or you finding a very stable and monetarily healthy partner, okay? So if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and get into it. The first very fated and lucky placement within the birth chart is any of the Venusian signs or planet being in the 8th house, okay? The 8th house is the house of shared resources, right? So any of the benefic planets like Venus, or Venus ruled signs like Taurus, Libra, or Venus herself sitting in the 8th house will indicate you marrying into wealth, you marrying into a, you know, a very stable, monetarily healthy partner, okay? This is what this would show. Or it would just show that the partner that you do end up with will always want to foot the bill, all right, when it comes to everything. I've seen so many people when they have Venus, Taurus, Libra in the 8th house who will find partners and just people in general who want to buy them things, want to take care of them, okay? So this is what this would show when you have you know, those placements in that planet, and that's the first indicator, okay? The second indicator within the birth chart would show any of the Jupiter ruled signs or planets within the 8th house, okay? So like Jupiter in the 8th, Sagittarius in the 8th, even Pisces in the 8th would give a very, very wealthy partner, to be honest with you, because this is going to expand the 8th house's resources. The shared resources are going to be expanded, all right? So any of those types of configurations of Jupiter ruled signs or planets in the 8th house is going to really ensure that your husband is going to be quite wealthy. Because if we are taking into consideration that Jupiter is the husband within the birth chart and it's sitting in the 8th, this will quite literally bring the partner themselves will be shrouded in wealth, okay? So this is very fated, very lucky. And it will also be a placement when you have Jupiter ruled signs, Jupiter ruled or Jupiter himself in the 8th house. This would show that the partner will transform your life. The partner will be someone that is quite wealthy. They will also be quite lucky. They will come at a time of great transition and crisis within your life, and they will be, because they are so monetarily stable, will come in and whisk you away from danger, or whisk you away from the hard life that you are leading, or the hard moment or chapter you are in your life. It's very intricate and it speaks to so much, but that is one of the indicators, okay? Yeah, beautiful. The third indicator would be if your 7th lord is in the 8th house, okay? So I'm gonna make a video very soon about the lords of the houses, but if you are very well versed within the lords of the houses, what I mean by that, for example, is if, let's say, on your 7th house, you have Capricorn as your 7th house, right? The Lord of Capricorn, which means the ruler of Capricorn, is Saturn, right? If Saturn sits in the 8th house, that means that the 7th Lord is sitting in the 8th house. That right there would ensure you getting a very wealthy partner, okay? The caveat with that example that I just gave of the 7th Lord going to the 8th house by the Capricorn ruler the caveat to that is that you may have to wait a very long time. Not a very long time, it would include that you are marrying late or after 30, and the partner will come, they will be very wealthy. They may be older than you, right? Okay, so 7th Lord in the 8th houses, and if the Lord of your 7th house is ruled by Jupiter or Venus, and sometimes Saturn, this is going to make it even more so, okay? Those are very benefic lords, all right? So if your lord of your 7th house is ruled by Venus, Jupiter, and or Saturn going into the 8th house, that will ensure you get a very wealthy partner, okay? Very wealthy partner. Like, this is like cream of the crop. Penthouse suite, okay? Like, yeah, doorman at the front of your gate or whatever. Like, whatever your epitome of wealth is, this is what that would show when you have, and sometimes sun as well. Let's not forget, the sun is a benefic as well. So if you have like Leo 7th house and then the sun is in the 8th, OMG, yes, for sure. That is what that would show, because that's a benefic, all right? So that is I believe the 3rd indicator within the chart that would show this, okay? The 4th indicator within the chart, if we are going on trend with the lords, right? It would be the 7th Lord going into the 2nd house, all right? The 7th Lord going into the 2nd house, the 2nd Lord going into the 7th, the 7th Lord also going into the 11th house, or the 11th Lord going into the 7th house is what this would show for a very monetarily stable partner, okay? This is what this would show, all right? With the 7th Lord going into the 2nd house, this is gonna show that you are not only gonna share the same morals, values as your partner, but your partner will be very monetarily stable. You may meet them in a very rich or upscale environment while handling money, handling food, upscale things. With the 7th Lord going into the 11th house, this is gonna show that the caveat to this is that yes, you may get a very monetarily stable partner, but you may have to wait a long time for it, after the age of 30, right? They may be amongst a friend or a common group of people that you are always around, a common industry, common community, or they may be a best friend, right? But it would show that this will come later in life for that monetarily stable partner if the 7th Lord is going to the 11th house, or if the 11th Lord is going to the 7th house. But that is that indicator of, money, because these are money houses, right? Anything aspecting money houses indicates money, right? So the 2nd house is all about money. The 11th house is all about future money. That's why I say it takes a long time, because it's in the future. It's gonna be something off long term, okay? So that right there is the 4th indicator within the birth chart, okay? Let me know if you have this configuration. Also let me know what those lords are. What signs are ruling your 7th house and your 2nd house, or what's the sign on your 11th house that's going in from your 11th to the 7th? Let me know these things, and I will let you know the specifics of what can be portrayed, what is going on, what is the exact situation that will be playing out within your chart, okay? But that is the 4th indicator, all right? The next indicator is going to be the 8th Lord in the 8th house, all right? So any 8th Lord, 8th house, except, let's just go with 8th Lord in the 8th house will definitely ensure, because the 8th house is all about shared resources, especially within marriage, right? This is going to ensure that a blessing is there in that house, right? When you've got the 8th Lord in the 8th. Okay, I would say maybe not so much Gemini lords or Saturn lords sometimes will not give favorable results, but usually when it's a benefic, like the 8th Lord in the 8th house, anything with Jupiter or Venus, Moon, yeah, let's just go with 8th Lord in the 8th house, okay? 8th Lord in the 8th house, that is going to give you a blessing of shared resources and finances within your marriage, okay? You will get a very monetarily stable partner, okay? Let me know if there is someone out there with like 8th Lord and 8th house and it's not a benefic Lord of that house. Let me know if you still got a rich or stable partner, okay? Because in my humble opinion, I do think that it is more likely if it's a benefic Lord that is ruling the 8th Lord and 8th house. But if it's not, like let's say you have Mercury and Gemini in the 8th, you know, like it's a blessing. You will get it, but it may be in a different sense than you are thinking of. Like it won't, but it can go either way, to be honest with you. So let me know. But 8th Lord, 8th house in any of the signs, any of the planets, will give you this partner, okay? It will give you a rich and wealthy partner, all right? Indicator is going to be Jupiter in Taurus in anywhere that sits in your chart, okay? Jupiter in Taurus is going to ensure, if we are considering Jupiter as the husband within our birth charts, Jupiter sitting in Taurus anywhere within our charts will show that eventually you will get a very monetarily stable partner. You will get a very rich partner, a stable partner in some respects, right? This would also show with Jupiter in the 11th house, all right? Now, when it comes to the 11th house, we're gonna have to make sure that 11th house is in a good benefic sign, okay? So when it's in Scorpio or, you know, Capricorn or Aquarius, it can get a little shaky there, right? But when Jupiter is in 11th house in any of the other signs, that is going to ensure a very monetarily stable or rich, wealthy spouse, all right? When it goes to the 11th house as well, we also have to consider that this may take a while, all right? This may be something that happens later in life, all right? Like whether you get with the person and then they become rich, or it will show that you may have to wait a while before you meet said person, okay? Because the 11th house is the retirement house. This is the far off house. This is the long-term house, right? And these things usually manifest after the age of 30, 35, okay? The next indicators are going to be more talking about the rising signs that are built into the makeup of their charts. They have very favorable 7th or very favorable 8th houses, all right? Or just the configuration of their chart usually dictates that they will marry into wealth, right? And so the first rising sign that is very favorable for this is the Cancer rising, right? A Cancer rising is gonna find that through the makeup of their chart that they marry into wealth, all right? Same with the Leo rising. The Leo rising will marry into wealth, right? And lastly, the Pisces rising is going to marry into wealth, all right? This is what this would show because they have very favorable 7th and 8th houses, all right? The next one is going to be Venus in Libra, all right? If Venus in Libra is in the 7th house, you've hit the lottery. Bingo, bing, 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 bing. This ensures a very favorable marriage when you have Venus in Libra in the 7th house, or Venus in Taurus in the 7th house. OMG, like what? Stop the tape. Give me some money right now. Like that is what this would ensure. And I would also say lastly, the last indicator is going to be Jupiter in the 7th house, okay? Jupiter in the 7th house is going to be very favorable for a very rich partner, okay? A very abundant partner, because you're putting the planet of abundance in a marriage house, right? And so the partner themselves has got to be abundant in some respect. Now, when it's in a not so favorable sign, it can change that. When it's in like, you know, Scorpio or, you know, aspecting Pluto in some kind of respects, it can change those things. But usually when you got Jupiter in the 7th, you know, this is what that would show as well. Also, the 7th Lord in the 7th house can give you a very stable partner, a very rich, wealthy partner, okay? So, I do want to preface this entire video by saying that there are always some drawbacks within the chart, okay? If any of the placements that I just named are aspecting Saturn, or are within the lords of Saturn, or they are under the signs of Scorpio, or aspecting Pluto, please understand that it may negate everything that I've just said here, okay? Not always. This is why, again, it is always best to consult an astrologer like myself. My links are in my description boxes if you ever want to reach out. That way, I am not speaking in generalities, but I'm actually speaking to you and can see what is going on in your specific chart that will say yay or nay for rich spouse or not, okay? So again, always use these videos and my videos as a guide, a framework, a teaching tool, because that is what I'm here to do, to teach after all, you know. And of course, if things check out in your birth chart, great, but I don't ever want you to be taking concrete information from this because you have not consulted an astrologer. You have not, you know, gone to someone that knows what exactly can be going on in your chart, okay? So that was the video. Let me know in the comments where you lie within these. How many indicators did you get within your chart? How many placements do you have? Are you a little curious about a certain placement within your chart that may have been close to the ones that I've said here? Let me know in the comments below and I will let you know if that is a favorable placement, if I've named them within this video, okay? You have a beautiful day, and I will see you on the next video, all right? Bye.